Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to Did that fix our echo?
Try it.
Okay. We'll try this again. I'd like to remind everybody that this is a public meeting and we are being recorded via audio and video. And that this is a public meeting. And if you do address the board, please do so with your name and address for the record. Awards, recognitions, and correspondence.
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, hearing none. Approval of the minutes of May 4th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any additions to the agenda?
Pray not.
I don't believe so.
Any public input recognition of visitors that are not on the agenda? Now is your time to address the board. Okay,
No hands up here.
hearing none. We're going to move into our business items. I am going to move our business items just a slightly. I'm going to have Dale Kermer come first. So we're going to move, what one is that? Number 14, Community Corrections Classifications. We're going to move that up to number 1. He has got multiple engagements he's trying to get to, so.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dale Primer, 4705 Northwest Pioneer Place, Director of Community Corrections. So I've provided a fair amount of background, I think, in the packet for you in terms of the requests that I have before you today. The reality of it with our system specialist folks and, you know, through ongoing conversations with Jennifer that date back quite a while over the years of where to put these positions in terms of classification. We've landed on a request to move them into an existing classification that we have at Community Corrections called the Office Assistant 4 position. The duties of these positions have evolved over the years and decades to a position not only of just basic data entry and answering phones and directing traffic, to really managing and entering and tracking, you know, essential duties of our work, whether that's data entry into our state system or our law enforcement data system, or tracking our interstate compacts, or to entering into compliance related information on community service completion. So over the last recent months, we've updated the classification of Office Assistant 4 to be more inclusive of all the current duties, and feel that that's the appropriate placement for what used to be or what are currently our System Specialist 1 and 2 positions. I would anticipate a question on the budget impact of this. You may or may not be aware there were some law changes earlier last year around the collection of fees. We've since eliminated a bookkeeper position that was in the same kind of budget lane as the rest of these things, as well as we're down several positions with no near-term intent to fill. So in an $8 million budget, the modest increase that would come from this classification to the number of people, I really don't see there being any budget impact to us. In fact, I think we're significantly underspending in our personnel lines, and I feel not only is it comfortable on the budget side, I think it's the right thing to do for these folks given the work that they do and the heavy reliance that we have on the work that they do for us.
This is not out of the ordinary. We've had, I think the sheriff came to us with a reclass, something similar to this, so.
I've been with the department 25 years, I guess in September, And I've seen the work evolve and the dependence that we have on these folks. And when you have some vacancies and some people leave, you really quickly learn how dependent you are on the work that they do. And they are a critical piece of our operations.
Any questions?
None for me. I would move to approve reclassification assistant specialist 1 and 2 positions to office assistant 4 position effective June 1, 2022.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you very much. This is a big deal for our staff.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, back to the regular order. Recording system software. And there's
Righty looks fully.
Wasn't one of the ones Dan told me I was gonna be talking about, but I can talk about it anyway.
We're gonna talk about a few things, actually.
So, Riley Wortman from IT, I'm filling in for Dan. We are wanting to change our recording system. The original was written by Dan and then upgraded throughout, but we're looking at actually connecting this in with the assessment software. And so we have a quote from OrCats, or Helion software, which runs OrCats, and they have a recording system that connects into that. And so that's the direction we're planning on going with the recording software. And so we're looking to authorize the purchase from Helion, including the fees and licensing, the support, the training. As for the most part, it's to make the lives easier between recording and assessment and taxation. Make it a little more efficient overall. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
None.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I also move.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Elections payable, you doing that one too?
I wasn't planning on it, but I probably could if you'd like me to.
Well, you said you're filling in for Dan.
I am filling in for Dan. I was thinking, yeah. So they have postage due to the election. So the invoice is for $20,000, which is over the $5,000 required to be approved by commissioners. This is, I think, pretty normal for an election. So that each election we have to approve the postage for them.
I would move to approve and sign the attached payable to the U.S. Postal Service in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I think this is you too. Have we gotten to what you thought you were gonna talk to yet?
But that's okay.
Just checking. So this is a payable for ballots.
Yep, and that's the same thing every year for the election. We have to pay for the ballots to go out, so pretty normal.
It's too bad not more of the ballots came back that we send out and paid good money to send out for.
That's another thing that Dan is working on with the, he's gonna have some people come in from, as interns, I believe, and work on messaging and getting out to try and get people to bring those back in.
Yes. Okay, I think now we're hitting the.
Well, at least we had the ballots were correct.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
The printing on the ballots was correct, and it worked quite well, I think.
I move for approval.
Second.
Did we already vote on that one or no?
Nope.
Okay, motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Stafford Hansell camera system.
This is one I was expecting to talk about, so.
Get there eventually.
So we're looking to improve the security at the Stafford Hansell building. There's a grant from CIS that we have to make the purchase of the camera and then return that purchase to CIS to get reimbursed for. The total $15,449.03. We're looking at having Unitech come in and install the cameras on the outside of the building, give them a better perimeter and be able to see the outside of the building better.
As someone who spends a substantial amount of time with Stafford Hansell and the operations that go on there, I am wholly and totally in support of this. It's needed. It's a very active building, inside and outside. So I would make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And Public Works Wireless.
Wait.
Oh, wait, I skipped
You
one,
was
maintenance
supposed
payable.
No, that's,
Not gonna do the wireless though?
I am doing the wireless, the Public Works wireless. if
Oh, do you wanna
want.
just go ahead and do that one then? Because you're not doing the maintenance facility.
No.
Okay, since we have you, let's do the Public Works Wireless.
Okay, so we're looking at installing wireless for the road department as a lot of their equipment, and to be able to work on the machines, they need to be able to look up things at times in the vehicles themselves. And so it'll save them from running back to their computers and make it a little bit more efficient to actually work on the machines. So we're looking at having Unitech install the wireless. We'll hook in the device in the firewall and the internet for them, and then they should be able to connect from the vehicles.
According to Director Fellows, I think the real reason is that the cables on the computers weren't long enough to get out to the shop.
I mean, but at the same time, you don't want them running over those cables.
That's
so
true, there you go, good point, right.
wireless will make it a lot easier for them to do their jobs. That's
Cheaper than conduit.
Well, this is a very innovative and progressive move by Director Fellows.
I would move for approval.
Second?
Got a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll go back to the maintenance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Tanner, Facilities Manager, Umatilla County. You have electrical supplies for the new maintenance shop, for our rough end wiring and trimming out. It's $6,653.94.
That's a different amount than we got 6,159.88.
Where are you looking at? I'm showing 6,600.
I'm sorry. I was still looking at the Wi-Fi for Tom.
Okay, any questions?
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Okay, Public Works purchase.
I'll try to slow this down for you guys. Morning, Commissioners. Tom Fellows, Public Works Director, Umatilla County. So, the first item before you is the purchase of some treated bridge decking. We periodically have to go out so that we have bridge decking on hand. The timber decking, you never know when it's going to finally give up, and we did go out, we looked around. As you can expect, treated timbers are not the most popular thing anymore, and it's becoming more and more difficult to find these. Historically, we've had at least 3 suppliers in the Pacific Northwest that we've always done business with and been able to get prices from. Now it seems that two of those 3 suppliers have decided that they're no longer in business, so we're kind of down to the one. We did our best to search and see if we could find somebody else, but we couldn't. There are some possibilities maybe back in the Midwest or upper Midwest, but we haven't been able to confirm that, and we really need to get this decking so that we can work on some bridges. So what we're requesting is to purchase bridge decking from Voorhees Wood and Manufactured Products in the amount of $16,268.40.
I would move to adopt order number BCC 2022-038.
Second?
Got a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Road vacation.
So are you doing this, So, cool. So the next item is,
Have you read the report?
yeah, I right here, is the road vacation for a portion of Rayburn Canyon Road. The vacation report is attached. The description of the property is also on there. Property is on the south side of Highway 204 and has not been used for any public right-of-way purposes for a number of years. There are no utilities associated with it. All of the property owners that are impacted have signed the petition, and the Public Works Department view is that this would be in the best interest of the county to go ahead and vacate this portion of the road.
It's just two property owners, right?
Two,
Yeah.
That are impacted.
yeah, that are impacted, yes. And they were all signed onto it.
I would move for approval.
Second?
Got a motion second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Sale of grader.
So this is one of the motor graders that we're currently surplusing from the road department. Wheeler County, which is not one of the larger, most populated, nor is it the richest county in the state, has a need for motor grader. The last two motor graders that we sold at auction brought us in the neighborhood of $90,000 to $95,000. Wheeler County has agreed to purchase this particular grader for $110,000. This saves us the problem of going out for public bid, since Wheeler County is a county we can sell directly to them without the public bid process. So what we're asking is approval from the board to sell Wheeler County a 2015 Cat motor grader for $110,000.
So moved.
Second question, I'm kind of curious how you arrived at the price.
It was based on the last two auction amounts, and then seeing what was out there. I found a 2015 motor grader that was for sale from a dealership, and it was $150,000. Didn't seem to be, that was kind of a one-shot deal. Everything else is down around the neighborhood where we priced the grader. So
I'm not suggesting we want more. They're the smallest and the poorest county in Oregon.
yeah, well, and the $110,000 is consistent with what I was seeing out there on the market, and it's more than what we've received in the last two that we sold at auction. So.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public Works reclassification.
So this is our shop foreman has turned in his resignation effective the end of June, and currently there are some other changes that we think are going to potentially impact the shop situation out there. So really what we want to do is replace the shop foreman right now with the mechanic, and then we'll decide moving forward how that structure is going to work out. I'm anticipating another retirement out there that will change this whole makeup. But currently we just want to get advertised for a mechanic and get somebody on board, especially going into our chip seal season. Being down to one mechanic is probably not the most efficient thing that we could have out there. So.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just so that you know, we are starting our chip seal program actually today. So if you start hearing grumbling and grousing out there about rock chips, that's our fault.
We'll forward all those to Commissioner Vaughn.
We did it, yeah. So, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tom.
Ambulance franchises, number 11. You doing those?
Commissioners, this is Tom Roberts.
Oh, on the phone. Good morning.
Sorry, I couldn't make it live today. So I don't have the agenda in front of me, but if I understand correctly, that this particular line item is for the franchise extension. And the request here is coming to you through me from the Ambulance Service Area Committee. We were, as you know, those of you that have participated in prior years with our ambulance franchising, every 5 years we go through a very extensive process. It's about a 9-month, almost year-long process to receive applications and go through those applications for an ambulance franchise, and then have public hearings and stuff. And the tail end of COVID kind of put us behind the 8 ball, and we're getting ready to go into fire season, and most of our applicants are fire departments, and there was some concern there that they would not have as much time available to be able to walk through this process as diligently as they normally would. And so we're asking for a 1-year extension of the existing franchises to give us the opportunity to get that process moving in the appropriate manner.
So, Tom, I take it that you did receive the applications and you just didn't have time to get through the process?
No, we haven't put out for applications. Normally we have to go through a public request for proposals type process and do public hearings and stuff. And that's really where a lot of the hang up was. And then the applications themselves take quite an extensive timeline from the agencies. And so they're concerned that going into what could be a historic fire season with all the water and stuff we've had that's creating some of the vegetation, that we might potentially disallow them the time they're going to need and the attention that those applications will need as well.
When will they go out now?
We should be able to be going out by September. We're gonna one of the other requirements that parallels this is to go through the ambulance service area plan and bring that up to par. That's step 1. And so we'll be working that between now and our next meeting in September. And then we'll be pushing those applications out right on the tail of that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I move for approval.
Second?
A motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ambulance variance. Is that you as well, Tom?
I can speak on that. I'm not sure if Chief Beatty or a representative from East Umatilla County is there or not, but essentially this is a reoccurrence that happens on a regular basis for them to request the variance approval from the county for their ability to respond without having a fully staffed ambulance. They can have a non-EMT driver.
Allow an EMT to drive the ambulance instead of a paramedic.
Correct. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we started that when I was on the board over there, so this is nothing new.
Move for approval?
Second?
A motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Emergency management contract extension. Well, that's gotta be you.
This one is me, has my title in it. So what we're asking for here is the board to approve and fund a 3-month extension of the Alert Sense program. Basically, it's an insurance policy to ensure that as we're onboarding with the new Alert program and the Everbridge platform, if for some reason something happens that delays that onboarding, then we still have the capability of messaging. Technically speaking, we're live, or we're very soon to be live on the Everbridge platform. But what we're going to be lacking, and what concerns me the most, is familiarity of the new product and the differences in putting out messaging that could cause significant delays in messaging people in a life safety event. So it helps us and it behooves us to have a little bit of redundant capacity for while until we are more comfortable with the system and the public is better aware of this system change.
Where does the money come from on that to pay for that? Is that a question for you, Tom, or for Robert?
I've spoke with Robert about it. It wasn't something initially we had budgeted for, but historically, as we've been through the alert sense system, we've been spending about $20,000 annual that came out of a line item in my budget. The 3-month extension would cost us just under $6,000, and so we're still going to be saving a little more than $14,000 on an annual basis. But it would create a need for us to modify the emergency management operational budget.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can we do that at this time, Robert, or do we have to have some action from your office?
I'll have to do another review of that program, but if necessary, we can do a budget transfer on our last meeting of the year. That's quite possible that we'll need to do that.
Okay.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. We did the community corrections, carpet replacement. I wonder what you're doing here.
I just came hang up with the kids. Laura Franks with the Sheriff's Office manager out there. We received a quote for carpet replacement for the media room. The media conference room is the largest conference room in the county, and it's utilized for state agencies, other departments, county agencies, regionally. Carpet's about 25 years old, has a lot of stains on it. We've not been able to remove any of the stains despite being cleaned several times.
I didn't make any of those things.
Coffee or donuts?
No blaming. There's lots of unique stains on there. We entertained the idea of doing a hard floor, and with that room being so large, the acoustics just wouldn't work. So we've opted for carpet and the tile carpet. So if something is stained or damaged, we can uproot that one and replace it. Cost comes to a little over $7,000 to be split among all the divisions, unless the county decides that they'd like to work over the money for that. That'd be great.
I think it's a great idea. Mike, during construction, is there going to be traffic in there at all? Or is this something that waits just because of supply and demand? Is it going to be after construction? Or?
As far as the media room?
For the jail renovation, I think is what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Oh, totally separate.
But I just wonder if there's going to be traffic.
I don't anticipate traffic up there. That room is used a lot. It's used, I've got meetings and stuff.
Oh, I know.
all the way through the end of the year.
Yeah.
But any additional, I don't think so.
Okay. I move for approval.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Copier purchase.
Jennifer Blake, HR Director. In front of you is a request to go ahead with approval to purchase a new Canon copier for the HR office. This will be a color copier that will assist us with some of our projects for labor negotiations, things like that. I will have to say we will be prudent with our use of the color and use black and white as much as possible. But this is before you to ask for us to go ahead and get this purchase accepted so we can get the order placed. It will take about 8 weeks for the copier to arrive. This was part of my request for next year's budget.
Jennifer, the only thing I couldn't see, and I know it's on there somewhere on the quote, is how long the warranty's for. I just couldn't find it. I bet it's on there somewhere.
I don't have an answer for that. I can certainly look into it and get back to you. I'm very happy to provide that to you later. I just don't have that right now.
That'd be great.
Move for approval?
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries. CCS contribution.
It's human to do that, or?
I can do that if you want to. To support the mental health treatment services in Umatilla County, the board has approved a budget for a payment of $250,000 for this fiscal year to the county mental health treatment services provider, Community Counseling Solutions, or CCS. The intent of the board is to renew this contribution for an additional 3 years, for a total of 4 years total, for mental health treatment services in Umatilla County. The requested action is to approve payment of $250,000 to Community Counseling Solutions and document commitment of the board to continue the same amount for 3 additional years through fiscal year 24-25, subject to funding restrictions.
Does it say anything about enhanced crisis response?
So that the $250,000, that this current one is going to go to the purchase of 2 vans equipped. One will be stationed here in Pendleton, one will be stationed in Hermiston for exactly that purpose.
So, I would like to make the motion, but I would like to incorporate the enhanced just crisis response, not mobile, just crisis response.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And pipeline contracts.
And there are 7 items before the board for action as part of this, so it'd be under separate actions, please. This is part of the Central Pipeline project. We're proceeding towards the construction phase of the pipeline, and some of these contracts are related to that. This is part of 1 and 3 phases. First up is the approval of the actual design and construction of the project. Then next we have 5 separate contracts for services to be help with the test pits on the depot. And then finally is authorize the chair to sign any necessary documents.
Any questions?
None.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if nobody else will do it, I'll make that.
I thought you might want to.
I kinda do. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Or maybe.
So the first one, I would move that we approve design and construction of a central pipeline project, including pipeline and recharge basin.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 2 is the geophysical survey for utility locates. I'd make a motion we do that.
Second?
You got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
For number 3, Columbia River Services for test pit excavation, we approve that contract. I make that motion.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Number 4, make a motion for ALS Kelso for chemical laboratory analysis.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Number 5, I make a motion for ALS Kelso for soil physical properties laboratory analysis.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Number 6, I make a motion for Solent for water level monitoring instrumentation.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And finally, I move the authorized chair to sign necessary documents for approved contracts.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On those long motions, I need retraining.
Vehicle purchase.
This is coming before the board for authorization to order up to 15 Chevrolet pickups through the Enterprise Fleet Management. The intent on this is to allow the county to maximize the number of pickups that can actually be received, and it's whichever vehicles are actually built that have been ordered that the county will be purchasing through the management plan.
I actually have an email from our enterprise person, if you don't mind, I'd like to read a little bit of this, because I think this really clarifies the purpose of this. So this is per our conversation earlier this week, attached, which is in our paperwork here. The 2023 Chevy half-ton truck build to match your 2022 Ford and Ram truck builds. As we are waiting for either of those truck orders to be built, I recommend we place these Chevy half-ton trucks as backups. Ford and Ram are expected to cancel between 40 and 60% of their orders that are not already scheduled. Chevy anticipates they will only build 60% of a normal year's truck orders. And she goes on to say, let's get these in so you have the best chance of getting the trucks you need. If you are lucky enough to have multiple trucks built, you can take your pick of what you want and take delivery of. There is absolutely no risk to Umatilla County with the additional orders. If you do not want them, we will easily find new homes. So that kind of goes to this.
I have a question on that. I noticed that the Ford and Dodge are reducing their orders by 40%,
Mhm.
and Chevrolet is only building 60%. What's the difference?
I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, but it's
That's
weird
a
that
heck of a
40
salesman you guys got there.
Yeah. So, but we'll only keep the 15 that we need unless there's a future need by the time they actually show up, so.
Gotcha.
All right. I just wanted to have that for clarification because I read that earlier and I thought, well, that's a good email for that, so.
Move for approval?
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mosquito board, control board appointments.
What's coming before the board is the request to, for 2 terms that are expiring on the Umatilla County Mosquito Control District Board of Trustees. One is willing to be reappointed, the other one is not. So the request is to reappoint Jason Luke and then also appoint a new appointment for Carrie Shelanick.
I would move for approval of BCC 2022-034, with also a request that we send a thank you letter to Glenn for his years of service on that board.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Wildlife Services budget.
What's coming before the board is approval of the contribution made by the county towards the Wildlife Services Program. This is a USDA APHIS program that is paid through their funds as well as the state and county. The county contribution this year is proposed at $90,000. That is the same that the county paid for this current fiscal year. It's in the proposed budget for next year, so it's before the board for approval of the county contribution of $90,000 towards the wildlife services.
I brought this back to the board after several conversations with Shane Coyle and his supervisor. One of the things that we're going to ask for is a little bit more complete reporting in the contract, the agreement that goes back to them. But with that said, I would move for approval.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Path project. Mr. Dorn, did you want to handle that one, or is?
I can, sure. For those that weren't there last night, we had a meeting on the PATH project, which is practical assistance through transitional housing project in the west end of Umatilla County. It includes Echo, Stanfield, Hermiston, Umatilla, and Umatilla County. What this action does is approve the Umatilla County to accept the $1 million pilot program that was established by House Bill 4123, and then it will flow through to the city of Umatilla as the fiscal administrator and be overseen by a coalition or a IGA of those cities and their representatives. That Is that right? Basically, Doug? Yeah. I would move for approval.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And fee ordinance amendment.
Public hearing.
Is it a public hearing?
Yes.
Ah. So at this time, we will suspend our regular meeting and go into public hearing mode for a fee ordinance amendment.
Okay, what's coming before the board is the annual request from the departments to increase the fees that are charged for county services. The county this year is proposing to change a few fees. A lot of these are also being deleted because their service is no longer being provided by the county or are being done at no cost. Primarily Harris Park is requesting increase a few of their fees to cover their increased costs. Public Health is requesting to have the environmental health fees increase slightly due to state imposed fees, but that requires the county to increase their own. And finally, assessment and taxation is requesting to increase some of their fees. Are there any requests regarding the fee changes?
None? Move for approval. Oh, yeah.
We're in public hearing, yeah.
Sorry.
So, anybody want to speak in favor of it? Hearing none. Anybody want to speak in opposition of it? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, we will adjourn the public hearing and go back to our regular hearing.
And what is being requested at this time is schedule the second reading of the ordinance, and that would be proposed for June 29th.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Is it too late for a question? Probably.
No, we haven't voted.
Okay. Under the Harris Park fees, we have actually a reduction from $35 a night to $30 a night. Is that correct? Or should it be the other way?
So I was thinking there, the $35, basically, all of the sites previously included tents, so now everything's being
Just gonna be
combined with
flat
one
rate.
flat fee for everything,
Got it.
30, is what it is.
Yeah. Except for the cabins.
The cabins are being increased.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Commissioner Murdock made the motion for the change the date, for the hearing date. Got a second? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Doran?
None but, oh, yeah, I do. Thank you to the other two commissioners and Doug for the attendance last night at I think somebody described it as a historic meeting that included Umatilla County City Council, Hermiston City Council, and the public, and a lot of support staff from each of the cities in the county. And I thought it was a very productive meeting. I thought the questions were great. Some of them that were brought up we hadn't addressed, and I think that was important. I think the engagement by the different councils, to the degree they engaged in the issue, I was happy with, and nobody can forecast exactly where this is going to end up, but I thought it was a great meeting, a great kickoff, and the proper way to begin this process.
Yeah, I think visibility of the conversation is extraordinary.
I thought.
Yeah, I agree, having the two cities in the county all at the same table, and, I mean, seeing all those entities rowing, pulling on the same oar in the same direction to move forward is pretty impressive, so.
While they mentioned Echo and Stanfield participants, I would like to see some visibility from them or,
I actually got apologies from both of them just before the meeting last night.
good. So,
Dave and Ben.
okay,
Commissioner Murdock?
nothing.
I don't have anything either. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.